Okay.
But we will be online for at least an hour to make sure we answer all of your questions. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the demo, but if you want to ask a question anytime, please use the chat or indicate you want the floor in the attendees menu. So now I give the floor to Roman and Bill. Roman is the founder of Majei, and Bill Borman is our advisor. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Hi, I'm Roman. Next to me, you can see Rosen. He's from the managing director of Blackpeak, the largest investor in Majei today. And I'll pass the word to Bill, who put us together. And Bill, please take the floor, and then I'll continue with the demonstrations and the presentation.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for listening in. I'm the one without a picture. This is Bill Borman. I work as lead advisor to Majei and a few other companies, as well as being the managing director for technology and innovation with Recruiting Daily, Founded True, and work on various implementations of technology with companies like NASPA and Oracle and Hard Rock Cafe and so on. To give a bit of background or context to Majei and how we arrived here, I first met Roman about 2 years ago in what was supposed to be a 1-hour meeting to talk about a product or talk about a concept of a product that they had, that they were working away and had something which I thought was interesting, but was maybe a bit narrow in what we were looking at, and we all got really excited and went away from there discussing really what we could do with all this data that was available, in all the data that was available internally, all the data that was available in people's ATSs, all the data that was available through social networks and connections, to do something worthwhile from a matching point of view, as well as looking at the matching products that were around at the time that were fairly one-dimensional, and that they're only really ever matching at best on one aspect of the matching process. When having been worked in and around recruiting for about 30 years, pretty clear that the whole matching process was much bigger than that, and that's really where Roman and Svetla and Katya have gone away and come up with something that I think is really interesting in the marketplace and unique, which is the product we're going to have a look at today. In particular, I think you have to consider the 3 aspects of matching, which makes it different to other matching products. The three areas being what you can do, what is right for you, and what's the culture fit. So Roman, maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about the product and open things up.
Sure. Before to do that, quickly, I just want to walk the participants through just a few slides. So Majei is seamlessly matching people to jobs based on skills, experience, personality, and culture fit. This is a unique proposition on the market. We truly work with this technology seamlessly. The team from Mercer, which is on a call, have been testing the product with us. Maybe later they can share their experience on what the results are from this tests. This is the team. My journey started with getting a couple of job offers that were totally relevant to my experience or desire to, find a professional challenge. And then I spoke with Svetla, who explained to me that the same problem exists. It's even worse on the company or recruiting side. Then we met with Katya, who has excellent information extraction experience and capability. So we literally built our own parsing and matching technology from scratch. The reason is we test companies like Sovereign, Daxtra, TextKernel, and unfortunately they're not extracting the right information in a way that's suitable for matching, although they do offer such product and services. So we started this journey by building our parsing and matching, and we attracted Bill, who has been very helpful to help us define the product as well as work with investors. Felix, who may also be already on the call, is advising us on marketing. Both of these gentlemen are based in London, although Bill is probably spending a lot less time in London, traveling all over the place. And the journey started with this text parsing and matching prototype. So we applied for funding, and we received funding from 11. It's an accelerator based in Bulgaria, the third largest in Europe. Once we proved that we have something that is good for MVP, and we started working with several clients in Bulgaria, we attracted an angel as well as secured second funding from 11. Late last year, we received funding from Blackpeak. Rossin, sitting next to me, is managing director of Blackpeak, and another company also invested in us. We are currently in the process of closing our seed round, so the total investment is a little over €1 million. Also, late last year and early 2015, we start looking at integrating with EI Talent. I believe the colleagues from Zappos are familiar with the technology. So talking to them, it turned out that the best thing to do is actually put a product together. And this is what we've been doing since January, February this year. So now the product that we're going to show you has the capability of looking at people's professional hard skills, looking at their personality, which we currently map to Myers-Briggs. We could do other mapping to other personality trait indicators, and culture fit. So this is the product. I'm going to jump directly into the demo mode so you can see how it works. I'm going to demonstrate to you by logging in the interface with an email address and password. If in the meantime anyone has questions, raise your hands. We can open it for discussions if needed. Don't feel obliged to just listen. So this is the recruiter dashboard. So we're looking at the job description, which was uploaded today. The way we process information is you either have the opportunity to upload the job offer or upload resumes. Could be a single resume, could be a zip file. I'll demonstrate how it works. And the job descriptions is matched against the resumes currently available in the system. So the job description from the writing, this is what we extract. We are matching this requirement to available candidates in the system. We have the ability currently, the candidates are ranked based on skills and experience, so we're looking at skills, experience, and education. This, say, the first candidate, 94% overall comes from these three categories. And then we show personality and culture fit. We have the ability to match the candidates based on culture fit, if that's very important for an organization. So this way, the recruiter can focus on the people that are culturally fitting the organization and start the search from there. We can dig deeper just to show you how the interface works and what we provide in terms of information. We show the matching and unmatching skills of the respective candidate, experience if we extracted, education where it is studied, their personality, this case is extroverted, sensing, thinking, receiving how many percent of that, a short description of what the personality is, and then we show the full report of the culture fit. So now there are two views of what information we display. From low to high culture fit, this particular candidate is ranked high. We see this candidate comparative to all the other candidates in the system. And we also see in the blue dot is the company requirement, with the person medallion is how well the people are matching against those requirements. So you see this particular candidate is exceeding in most areas except dedication. So if we go back for a step and say we want the candidates to be matched with some different requirements in the skills and experience area, we can go back to the job requirements and say add. We click edit. We add requirements like 2 years of trainer experience. To select that, we click the plus and save the new search. When we click on the candidates, we're going to see that now the overall percentage is lower because the requirement is tighter. This is how the recruiter can refine their search if needed. I'm just going to demonstrate how we create a new job and upload resumes, so you see how the system works in action. And then we're going to open the microphones for questions. So I'm just going to upload a job description for the C++ application developer. It takes literally less than a second. These are the requirements. We catch a requirement for master degree. Then I'm going to upload some resumes that are in a zip file. It's going to take a few seconds to upload. In the interface, so our solution works as a software as a service. As you can see, we can also integrate it with a CRM or ATS. In the background, these type of information parsing and analysis is much faster than the interface, but in the interface it looks a little slower. It takes less than 0.5 seconds to process one resume or job description. This is what we have today. If we need to make it faster, we have access to more IT resources. We can make it faster if somebody has a million or more resumes to process. So we make this job in progress so we can see it in the dashboard. It's there. We can click on the candidates to see what candidates are suitable for this job. So we see the candidates again ranked based on skills and experience. These are the matching and non-matching skills that the candidate has, experience where the candidate worked at, what type of role and timing, and we have education. Please notice this person has a bachelor degree. The requirement was for a master. Therefore, it's ranked lower than 100%. And again, if we need to view the full profile, we can click on that, and we see the full information that we extracted out of the resume. Now here in the interface, we have the ability to look at what contact information we extracted from the resume, look at the original CV, if somebody wants to verify or dig deeper. So there's a possibility for the recruiter to open the CV and look through. This is the original CV, and add the candidate to the short list or delete a candidate to a short list. So this is where I'm going to stop the demo. The information we're showing you is real jobs, real people. So I'll be very interested to hear if you have any questions. And Bill, Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I think I unmuted everybody. Hello.
Okay. Bill? Kevin? Hello?
Hello. I don't.
Bill?
Guys, hello there. Whom do we have? I see a lot of questions from Rick. Rick, thank you. I don't know why you cannot actually ask them yourself. I'm trying to. Okay, I think you must receive a code for unmuting. I don't know.
There's a microphone button that I guess each individual can press. Maybe that's the.
Hello? Okay, while we are trying to make sure that everyone can speak now, I'm sorry if there is some. Okay, it's working slowly. Okay. Rick, hi.
Hi, this is Rick and Krista from Zappos. Can you hear us?
Hi, guys. We can hear you now. I don't know what happened previously. I couldn't unmute you.
Hi, we can hear you, so we're all good. We just had a couple quick questions. I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but you can tell us that.
It is. Go ahead. We are doing
Okay.
that especially for the questions.
One of our questions we saw as you were uploading CVs is what formats are accepted?
Currently, we can process doc, PDFs, text, almost anything.
Okay.
Any JSON formats, any type we can pull from social networks.
Okay. You mentioned that you can integrate with an ATS. Have you successfully done that with any partners yet?
Roman, this is over to you because you're leading the discussions with hopefully our first integration.
Sure. eRecruit, I don't know if you're familiar with it, based in Boston. We're currently testing with them. They want to integrate with us, but we haven't completed an integration yet.
You know what? Can you say what ATS provider they're using?
Sorry?
What's the name of the ATS company?
eRecruit. Maybe I can
eRecruit?
put it. Yeah, maybe I can put it in the chat so people can see it.
Okay.
It's in the chat.
What ATS are you using at Zappos?
We're using Jobvite currently.
Okay. We have a customer in Boston that is currently transitioning to Jobvite, and they're showing interest for integration, but we haven't gone, in any detailed discussion with them.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see the eRecruit? Yeah, you can see the eRecruit in the chat.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the other big question from the Zappos side would be on the culture fit piece. It sounds like when you were going through it to start with on the personality piece, you currently use Myers-Briggs, but you can use other platforms. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
This,
and then
Big Five, other things.
okay. And then I guess I'd love a deeper dive into how you're pulling culture fit. Like, I know you showed the company can talk about, can kind of rank what from their culture, I guess, is important. But where's that match coming through with the resume? How are you extracting that information?
Okay.
There is some noise. There is some noise.
You good? Okay. So the culture fit, there are two levels of establishing the culture fit. The first level is we'll look at the company's written materials describing the culture. So we're pulling information from there. That's level one. But that's the company general culture. And then the second piece is the team-specific or department-specific culture, which we derive from representative samples of the people representing that culture. So say we take 5 or 10 resumes or other written samples of people that work in that team and fit in the culture, in the company culture. So the candidate is measured against this benchmark, which is the team culture.
So when you talk about the team culture, you are going to take 5 of our best and look at their resumes and come up with kind of a culture ranking match from there, not more of a personality behavior driven?
Yes, that's behavior driven, exactly, yeah. And we compare the candidate against those team behaviors or culture.
I guess my question was, I've worked with companies before where, you do the top 20 people that really embody the culture. They do some type of personality assessment. Then as new applicants come in, they take the same assessment and they're matched up against those true culture fits, and that's how you really determine, according to them, who might fit, who might not fit. But yours is more based on the resume?
Based on the resume, yeah, no testing. No, we don't offer any testing. We just use the writing patterns of the people. Either resume or could be other type of written sample, but it has to be theirs. They have to have written the writing sample.
And are you able to walk through? I'm really curious about the writing sample and how that determines culture fit. I'd love, and maybe this isn't appropriate for this demo, but to actually look at what that process looks like.
Roman, I think I can add something on this. The culture fit is determined by not what you say, but how you say it. So culture fit is determined by written any written text sample of 250 words written originally. So it could be the resume or CV. It could be a profile. It could be any document. And it's taken around how things are written rather than what's written.
Okay, yeah, and I'd love, again, just to see that a little bit more clear, to see an example of someone's writing sample and then what you drew from that in terms of.
Yeah. I mean, the easiest way to do it is to run a test on some people that you know. If you provide us with some documentation of people who you've previously hired or rejected, then we can run the culture fit test on that and see how that ranks up. Because it always feels a little bit like a black magic, but the results are impressively accurate.
Yeah, and I think we can do that. I'm real curious about kind of the science behind how that's pulled. And again, this may not be the place to do it.
Well, in general, if Jordan, if I may, this is Svetla. In just one sentence, we do believe, as many cognitive scientists do believe, that language is behavior. So what we're looking at is the structures and how are they similar or different from each other. This is as simple as I can explain that.
I would suggest
Does it make sense?
schedule a separate meeting and go over that.
I think it's.
I mean, I understand the simplicity of it. I guess it's just, I've never heard of that before. Kind of judging someone's fit into the culture by the language they use. I mean, we do that when we're answering questions. Listening to people's responses to questions. But I would be surprised that you could get that from a resume. Or I would assume we would probably have to ask them for some type of writing sample that's work related, or ask them some questions and diagnose.
It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter what the document is as long as they've written it themselves. Because you're not interested in what's being. We're not interested in what's being said. It's how it's being said. In terms of the site, so it's the words that's being. It's the words that are being used in what context.
Another random question I had was you were showing the Myers-Briggs scores on the dashboard there. Are you suggesting that as people come into the system, then your system will allow them to test whichever one we're using to provide that score?
We currently have mapped it only to Myers-Briggs. We can map it to other type indicators. This Big Five, customize if there is a need for that. What type of personality indicators are you currently using?
I think more the question is, does the process of using your system have the candidate take the test, or is that something that the client does ahead of time?
No. They don't take the test. Again, based on their writing patterns, we derive personality traits, behaviors as well.
Okay, so the Myers-Briggs scores we showed was something that a client would have had their candidates take and uploaded into your system?
It's again writing samples from the CV are used to derive what is the person's personality, the person's Myers-Briggs.
You're not actually requiring the candidates to do anything extra in the application process.
Okay,
what
so
they already do, sometimes less.
So you're assigning the Myers-Briggs rating based on their writing sample?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I think is quite an important point. We're not requiring people to do anything extra in the application process to create the match, and we can also do that on historical documents, so you can compare people historically based on data that you've got in your ATS. That makes sense. We definitely have an echo from someone. I'm not quite sure.
Yep.
So Rick and Chris, we can schedule a session at your convenience to go over the process, so you can see with your writing samples how it works.
Yeah, I guess I need to wrap my head around a little bit more of what you all offer. I mean, I get the matching. I guess I would like to know, so if I'm an applicant and I apply, what does that look like? So I apply, and then the recruiter automatically, like, it'll be integrated, so then the candidates will show up in your system. I'm going to look at your system. It's really just a tool to see maybe who to explore first.
Okay.
Other questions? I think somebody's typing frantically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other businesses on the call, or is it just Krista and I?
Yeah, I think it might be worth a good way to do the demo would be if you were to supply some historical resumes where you've got some background, and we could actually show against a job description or job spec that you've got, and we could show that match live to you on a one-to-one.
Sure.
I think that would. I mean that would be the easiest way to do it, and then you can see how it would work in real time.
Okay, yeah, we could give you a couple, even Chris and I's resume, and recruiting back.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully you'll get the job. Otherwise, we might be falling down on that one.
Right.
I mean, I'm interested to know, when you talk to companies that have this type of matching.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think
maybe someone needs to mute.
Yeah, maybe someone needs to mute.
Lauren, I think Lauren is sitting in a very noisy conference room with people around her.
Yeah. Do you want to just mute Lauren?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will.
that's
I'm
cool.
sorry, Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stuff.
We talk to a lot of vendors that have software like this, where they'll match people to high performers, or they'll try to determine what a culture fit is and then match new applicants to that. What kind of what kind of research and statistics can you show us that prove that what y'all are doing is really being successful with companies who are currently using it or who have tested it?
Robert?
I can send you a few slides on that, and we can walk you through what research is behind. But it's basically language patterns in behaviors. That's what's behind it.
Yeah, if you could send us any case studies you've done, any
Okay.
white papers, anything that can give a little bit of backstory behind the science behind this matching, that would be helpful.
All right.
Sure.
And I think we'll take some time to look at that, and if we decide to keep going, we'll then work on the demo and share resumes with you and then kind of see how it works in action.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. I think Kevin is on the call. And Kevin, can you hear us?
Yep, and Patty's on too. Can you hear me?
Oh, excellent.
Hi guys, Patty, Kevin, hello.
You guys have tested not necessarily the culture fit, but the other elements of the technology. Do you want to share a little bit of what works, what doesn't?
Sure, Patty. Why don't I do a brief introduction of us, and then you can kind of chime in with anything that I missed.
Thanks.
So Patty and I from Mercer, we're an HR consulting firm, one of the largest in the world. We met Majei kind of randomly through some contacts, and we decided to pilot the tool with our internal folks here. So we basically did what Roman was suggesting, which was to take our resumes and put it into the system and see what kind of came out. And the first thing we did was upload our resume to see what Myers-Briggs scores we got from the tool itself. So the pilot that we're running to is mainly internal. We're using the tool as it sits now. I believe the updated demo as we see it today will be ready for us to kind of use. And then again, like I mentioned before, still in pilot phase, looking to see what the results are like, and we'll be able to share shortly.
Kevin, do you have any early on assessments of how it's working?
Yeah, so the first thing we wanted to figure out was how quick does the tool work? Does it take hours and days on the back end to kind of process the information? And the first thing we found out was no. You upload the job offer right then and there on the screen, and the skills pop up right in front of you. It takes half a second, like Roman said before. And in order to map resumes onto the job offer, again, that takes half a second to upload and match. So the results that you see, you get real time. If you have to integrate with an ATS, I'm sure there's some manual pulling there. We ended up just uploading resumes from PDF and Word documents ourselves, so there was no integration for ATS needed. That was the biggest thing we wanted to find out, and it happened instantaneously.
And was there a business case you were trying to solve for? Were you struggling to put the right people in the right roles?
Yeah, and you guys
Hi,
probably.
Patty, can you guys hear me?
Hi, Patty.
Hi, this is Patty from Mercer. I'll just add a couple more things. So this pilot, as Kevin was mentioning, we're still testing it, but in the preliminary results phase, what we're seeing is that the technology, they rank some of the top performers. The resumes are the ones that are very similar to our recruiters, the people that they picked. So far, preliminary results look good. We need to dig a little deeper in looking at the not so obvious candidates. So the obvious candidates, they definitely do a really good job of ranking them. So now we're trying to refine the technology a little bit to see if we can identify those, what we call the non-traditional talent.
So is the idea to kind of save a step for a recruiter? So instead of screening 50 or 100 resumes, they're all just popped into the system, and it lets you say, okay, here are the top 10, explore them first, without having to sit and go through each one?
Exactly.
Yep.
So it gives you a stack rank of candidates that, these are the top 10 you should talk to first, and then, if they don't meet your criteria or what you're looking for, then you go down to the next 10 or 20. So it gives you a ranking so you know where you want to start instead of just, like you said, just going through hundreds of resumes. It can do it automatically for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be interested one, if your results really speak volumes, and it's good stuff, but I'm not interested in any other manual process where I have to download a resume from a system and upload into another system. But if it was fully integrated and, and in my ATS, I can click on a requisition and see these 100 people, and then the rank is right there as well, that might be helpful.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and I think this is Krista from Zappos. I think, from the bit of the demo that we've seen so far, I mean, it looks pretty straightforward and, from a user experience standpoint, easy to use. I think, Rick and I both have been in recruiting a long time, so the skills matching piece and the personality matching piece, I think, clicks with us pretty quickly, but the culture fit piece is the piece that we would be most interested in terms of using a product like this. And so I'm definitely hearing what you're saying, that it's about language is behavior and language patterns equal behavior, but I think for Rick and I, we really need to understand the why behind how that works and see the research behind it to see if it makes sense for us. So that's the one component of this tool that I think is most useful to us, and that's the piece that's probably the most gray to us right now, frankly. So, I mean, if we could see, more of the research behind it and case studies around how that process works, we'd be super excited to look at that.
Okay. Krista, we would love to do that for you. The subject matter is like so enormous that we can't do that on a webinar. But I'll definitely select some case studies, and so that you'll see the picture of how it works.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other point on the integrations is I have an integration partner who can integrate with JobVite if we can't get in through APIs. So that again, that's something that can be solved quite easily.
Okay.
I think that wraps up the questions from our end.
Okay, anybody else has any more questions?
It's good for me.
So I just and maybe this is something kind of take offline, but I'd love to talk to the folks at Zappos. I believe it was as Rick and Kristen. You have Patty and Kevin from the Mercer side, and we can kind of share how our experience went with Majei. We can share some results and see if this is a fit for you guys. But maybe we take this offline and have our conversation at a later time.
Yeah, I think if we can get some of that research to look at that, then we can follow up, and we'll be happy to chat with them to know how they're using it in the real world.
That would be so good, Kevin. Thank you for that. If you like, I may exchange your contacts, and we can take it further from there.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Quick question, Rick, because you were talking about what kind of business need we can help resolve. Is it of any interest, a capability for us to find suitable candidate beyond the network of people that you currently have?
Are you talking about, can your system help us find candidates that we're not aware of?
Yes. For example, if we have access to people aggregators that have profiles that may be suitable for the job you're looking at, filling in, would that be of interest as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you can find folks that, especially if you have some tool that's going to help us determine whether they're culture fit, if you can go out to the world and find us great candidates that not only skilled and culture, right, of course, that would definitely be something we're interested in.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is we're experimenting this, and when ready, we can talk about it. Okay. Thanks. All right, I'm good.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for joining, and we'll follow up. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Is that done?